What's up, everybody? My name is Tucker. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the 5 most impressive rookies to start this NBA season. If you enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like rating on it. Check out my socials in the description as well. And let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so I initially thought that the title of this video was going to be like the best draft steals from this most recent draft. But then I looked at it and I was like, well, none of these guys are really late round picks. They're all drafted in the top 10 with the exception of one of them. So they can't really be steals. They're just kind of meeting the expectations people had for them. But nonetheless, they've been incredibly impressive. We're going to talk about 5 of them in this video. To begin, we're going to talk about the guy that was not drafted in the top 10. He's the leading scorer amongst rookies right now, and it's Chris Duarte. The story on this guy coming into the draft was if you needed a player to be good straight away, pick this guy. The Warriors really wanted them with their second lottery pick. There was a lot of teams that were interested in Chris Duarte amongst teams that just needed a really good player. And that's why the Indiana fit was a little bit weird when he was picked, because amongst teams that are presumably postseason ready, playoff teams in either conference, depth is not an issue for Indiana. They have a lot of really good basketball players when they're fully healthy, and so you would have expected them to potentially go with a higher upside pick rather than a 24-year-old rookie. But regardless, Duarte has been awesome. He is a way better scorer than I think anybody initially would have thought that he would be. He came in with a pretty solid defensive reputation, and he shows absolutely no fear. I mean, this guy has an absolute neon green light, and what that tells me, to have that much confidence as a rookie coming in, tells me one of two things. Either you are just an irrational confidence guy. You are in the Dion Waiters, J.R. Smith mold where you have never seen a shot that you do not want to take in a game. Or, and these two things can sometimes overlap, but I'm going to go with or here, you really worked on your game to the point where you felt supremely confident that you belonged from the time that you showed up to the NBA for your first game, where he just knew, he was like, I'm a better shooter now, I'm a better scorer, I can get to the rim. All that stuff has shown itself. Chris Duarte has been incredibly impressive. Granted, he's older than Jason Tatum. So like the expectation for him, if there was ever a rookie that was going to be an immediate impact player, it was going to be him, but still, nonetheless, he's been more impressive than I would have thought that he would have been so far in his NBA career, so all the credit in the world to him. Next up, potentially, I want to say he's potentially my favorite rookie in this class, but I really like this rookie class. But I'm going to talk about Scotty Barnes here for a little while. He was, I would say, a late riser in this draft class. For a while, it seemed like Kuminga was within that like top 5, top 6 consensus in terms of it being Mobley, Green, Cunningham, Suggs, Kuminga, not really knowing where else to go from there. And for the Raptors to pick Scotty Barnes ahead of Jalen Suggs, who again was a relatively consensus top 4 guy, like it was kind of like you have your first 3, you got Mobley, Cunningham, Green, and then you've got Suggs. And for them to pick Scotty Barnes, I think was definitely a surprise. But he is in, I mean, you want to talk about the perfect spot. If he had gone to Orlando, which is where he probably would have gone because most people thought that Suggs would go to Toronto at 4 and then Barnes would go to Orlando, Barnes would go to Orlando at 5. That would have been way more concerning because there is a long history, a long line of athletic, raw, long wing type players going to Orlando and just kind of becoming something. I love Jonathan Isaac. He's hurt right now. Defensive player of the year caliber guy moving forward, but certainly I think could have developed more in his time in the NBA. Aaron Gordon, same thing. But for him to go to Toronto and them just unleash everything with him has been so much fun to watch. He's incredibly athletic, great size, great fluidity, great body control, more skilled than I think a lot of people had anticipated once he came into the league. You are just assuming this guy is going to be an awesome defender, right? And he's been really good at that. But they've really empowered him as a passer, as a shot creator at times. He's not shooting the ball well at all, but his ability to see the floor, to make plays for other guys out of the high post, there's just a lot of fun, interesting stuff, and you can just tell that Toronto loves Scotty Barnes. They love the possibilities of what this guy could be, and it's been super impressive to see them just really fully go for it and unlock that and just say, you know what? We know we have other guys. We have OG, we have Van Vliet, but we just really want to see everything Scotty Barnes can do. There are franchises across the league that would have just stuck this guy in the corner and said, hey, work on your 3-point jump shot and we'll talk to you later. But the Raptors have empowered him to do so many other things, and I think that's had a lot to do with how impressive he's already been as a rookie. There's my Scotty Barnes rant. Next up, a guy that I was not super high on in terms of the place that he went to, is DaVon Mitchell. I got to give him credit. It didn't have a ton to do with him as a player. I just thought the fit wasn't ideal, where you're going to a team that's already got De'Aaron Fox, drafted Tyrese Halliburton last year, got Buddy Hield, and Buddy Hield's a guy that, they've been trying to trade for a year and a half, 2 years, it feels like. And I just didn't love the fit from a roster construction standpoint, but DaVon Mitchell as a player has been awesome. The defensive stuff has translated 1,000%. He has been an awesome on-ball defender against some of the better guards in the NBA. He is already a headache for these guys. He's already a guy that if you are one of the best guards in the league, when you're about to play against the Kings and DaVon Mitchell that it's not gonna be a super easy or fun night. Now, granted, it's easier to do that in your first couple of games in the NBA when nobody really knows kind of what your game is defensively and you're super amped and excited about your first couple of games in the league and establishing a reputation. But defensively, he has absolutely established and continued that reputation that he brought in from college with him. I'm really interested to see what happens with that guard rotation moving forward. There's a lot of people that aren't super high on De'Aaron Fox at the moment. Tyrese Halliburton has not had a good start to his second season. The Buddy Hield thing is consistently weird. And suddenly, it feels like the one guard that people feel really confident about in Sacramento is DaVon Mitchell. Go figure. But point being, he's been awesome. I love what he does defensively, and I can't wait to see how he continues to grow and develop as an offensive player. The concern for him moving forward was, of course, his size and his offensive upside, but defensively, it's all been there. Speaking of defensively, Evan Mobley. We talked about this the other day when I talked briefly about Cleveland. Evan Mobley is so much fun to watch, man. Like the expectation level I had for him was just much lower than this. I thought that defensively there would be some splash plays, but offensively he was going to have a long way to go. But he's been incredibly efficient. He showed every skill in the book. He's shown good skills as a passer, as an interior player, a couple of jump shots, scoring around the rim efficiently, super smooth athletically, and him and Jared Allen on the front court together. Like, it's been a long time since Cleveland has been fun to watch, and defensively, Cleveland is one of the more fun teams to watch in the league. Those two guys together are an absolute nightmare, and Mobley has the ability to play the 4 and also play the 5. Those guys both can hit occasional jump shots where the spacing isn't an absolute disaster. And the upside and the potential for him defensively is like the best defender in the league. Like, that's where the upside exists for Evan Mobley. My excitement level for him just was not as high as it was for the guards, because typically I think that if you have a bad draft pick at the top of a class, a lot of times it does end up being the big guy that just didn't quite work out, couldn't quite find a position, didn't really have the size to play the 5, but didn't have the skill set to play the 4. But no, Evan Mobley has answered every single question about his positional fit, about his versatility, about his defensive upside, about his overall potential. Offensively, he's been way better than I thought. Evan Mobley has been awesome. And then last up, I'm gonna screw up, mispronounce names. It's gonna happen. Franz Wagner, because I called Mo Wagner for like 3 years, and nobody ever corrected me. But that's who we're referring to, right? We're referring to his brother here, Franz Wagner. This guy, like, I wasn't super impressed in Summer League. I thought that he was interesting. He made winning plays. I wasn't sure what his position was. Is he supposed to be a 3? Is he supposed to be a 4? Is he going to be a good defender? The real thing for me, though, that's been impressive is the upside is really, really interesting. It's not a guy that, he might be a nice 12, 13 point per game scorer, good defender, good shooter. No, like, this guy could be a 20 point per game scorer down the road and a solid defender as well. And someone that has really good size, versatility, can play multiple positions. And I just wasn't expecting that level of upside from him. He's been the most impressive rookie that the Magic have to offer this year. Suggs has been disappointing, quite frankly, to begin the season. I still think he's a winning player and he'll figure it out. But I did not expect Wagner, to be the most impressive guy on this Magic team in terms of their rookies. And you can just tell by my excitement with each of these guys, this rookie class has been fantastic. I didn't even talk about Jalen Green, who's had some really crazy highlight moments. Cade Cunningham has played 1 game so far, which has been a disappointment, but this is a super, super fun rookie class. Having guys like Barnes and Wagner step up and be much more higher upside players than I think we initially thought. Mitchell immediately being an impact guy. Duarte immediately being an impact guy. Mobley, the crazy defensive upside potential. I can't wait to see what these guys are going to look like a couple years from now. The league is in great hands. The last couple of draft classes have been out of control, absolutely fantastic, and I cannot wait to see what these teams look like a couple of years from now. Let me know down in the comment section below who you've been most impressed with that was not on this list. There were other guys I could have talked about. Şengün, I could have talked about Jalen Green. I could have talked about a variety of different players in this list. I'm interested to see what you guys have to say down in the comment section below. But that is going to be the end of today's video, and I thank you guys very much for watching. Once again, my name is Tucker. If you missed any of my previous videos, be sure to check out the boxes on screen. And yeah, hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day, and I will see you all next time.